to the Fortress of Comic News, episode 160. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside Mike. What's up, Mike?
Nothing. Just a little chilly in the apartment today. No heat or hot water. I was in my safe space. All week. I was like, this isn't so bad. Being quarantined at home or self-isolation. But then it's kind of hard when you don't have any hot water. So yeah.
Fun New York story along those lines. And you might have gotten it because you're like right on the edge of New York. We literally had in 2 days all 4 seasons.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was Thursday. We had a nice fall morning.
Yep.
Followed by a nice brisk spring day. Then the sun came out and it was very summer. And then I woke up the next day to about 3 inches of snow.
Yeah. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Gotta love New York, man.
Yeah, I don't... I whatever. It's it is what it is. I think there was a thunderstorm the other day too. I don't know what the hell's going on. If you're trying to convince someone that it is not the end times, good luck, because I don't really have a whole lot of proof right now.
Yeah.
I don't have any. I can't convince them it's not. You know what I mean? I don't know.
It would not shock me one bit if I woke up tomorrow and Jesus had been resurrected once again. I don't know what's going on in this world anymore.
I mean, if you want to see it, watch Messiah. I watched that whole. I've been watching a lot of Netflix. I'm just finishing season 2 of Ozark right now. That show, like, I thought like Breaking Bad had cliffhangers when I watched Breaking Bad. I thought like, the cartel is really crazy, and like you think like. In Breaking Bad, you could still tell, like, okay, well, this character is kind of safe. Like, they almost would prepare you for, like, a big character death. Ozark doesn't do that. They're like, oh, you're emotionally invested in this character? Well, we're going to start an episode off where they just die. It's like, wait, what? Like, not even end the episode. They start the episode with the main character death. And it's like, all right, so where do we go from here? Like, it's fantastic. It's, I think season 3 just came out. That's why I was watching it. So I'm just going through a list of stuff that I need to catch up on, and that's on it. But
would you see Community is on Netflix now?
Oh yeah, I've seen all of Community. Yeah.
Okay, so here's I've never watched Community before. I didn't think it looked interesting when it came out originally, so I was like, eh.
Yeah.
And I've been told over the years I need to watch it. I did not realize it was a Dan Harmon show.
Oh yeah. Yep.
How that was never told to me, I don't know. And the other thing, the guy, what the hell's his name? The lead actor. I've never been a big, I've never been a big fan of his. Mm-hmm. And I actually really like him in this show. Like, I'm partway through season 2, and it's a really good show. I don't know if anyone knows this yet, but
yeah,
that's
on Netflix, so the paintball episodes are probably the best thing about the show.
I've seen one paintball episode.
Yeah. Well, they do a lot of people, like, I mean, they do like a Star Wars theme. I think they have like a Lord of the Rings theme, it just goes crazy. Like the amount of nerd references and stuff. And I know like Chevy Chase isn't around for all the seasons, but like, I guess he was a huge asshole to work with and stuff like that. But I thought that I loved the seasons with Chevy Chase. And then I think the final season, they bring in an actor who usually does like voiceovers for like video games and stuff. Like, you'll recognize his voice, and he does some acting too, but they kind of like replace Chevy Chase with another old guy, pretty much. But I don't know. I think the show is just wacky and awesome, and like Troy and Abed together is like it. Those characters are amazing.
Well, I've enjoyed, like, the first season was good. It was enough to like get me sucked in, but it was very like cast of characters. Mm-hmm. These are who everyone is. Put them in wacky situations. But definitely in season 2, like we've already had like a D&D episode.
Yep.
We had a zombie episode.
Yep.
Like they're definitely going with like pop culture references that are a lot of fun. So yeah, so far it's a good show.
Yeah, Abed is crazy. He's insane. You watch anything else besides that, or?
Walking Dead, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh, okay.
Hey, everybody. Interrupting the show we recorded earlier because we forgot something.
Oh,
we had
an
interview today.
What? We got an interview with who, Chris?
Nick O'Gorman doing Death Row Sorcerer on Kickstarter. He was a great conversation. Love talking to him. Check out that book and look forward to the interview later in the show.
Yeah, it is. It looks crazy. I mean, just seeing the art, I was like, I'm already invested in the book. I'm giving the money right now. Plus, there's original art available. Yeah, so check it out. Death Row Sorcerer on Kickstarter, and we're gonna get to the interview too a little bit later in the show. So.
All right, everything's super professional over here. Get back to what we recorded earlier.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I did notice just recently that you've updated some stuff on Kickstarter, Chris.
So,
what's going on there?
Everybody, the Kickstarter's still going. So if you go there, go to Kickstarter, search for Battle Monsters, or go to my website, chrisrunt.com. And there's a link there. Or you can look in the show notes. It'll be there too. There's new tiers to back at, signed copies, prints. I even decided I'm going to CGC a few and try to get those out there, and probably keep one for myself because why not?
Yeah.
Yep. But we broke 50%. As a matter of fact, I think we're at 52% funded. So
there it is.
Still got, as of when this launches, we will have 18 days to go. So it's still very much doable. It could happen. So
yeah,
and I believe it will.
Nice.
But yeah, go check that out.
It's cool.
What? Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
It was cool that you're getting feedback from people that you don't know about the Kickstarter. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, even though friends and family have been super generous, you yourself included, Mike.
Thanks.
There have been people that I have found it either organically or through the shows that I've been on that are starting to talk about it and like it. I'm going to put out an update probably later tonight, if not tomorrow. But I've even gotten people to share it on Twitter, like Mike Allred and Kurt Busick.
Yeah, you sent me that text. I was like, "What?" I was like driving. I had to like pull over and like look at my phone again. I was like, "Is this a joke? Is he trolling me?"
And then very randomly, the guys over at Wayward Raven, shout out to them.
Oh, nice.
Put me in a post, and I added it to it, and then Jimmy Palmiotti found it and shared it. So eyes are on it, and it's really super cool. I'm excited that people are sharing it, and yeah,
that's awesome, man.
So it's exciting. We'll get there. 18 days to go, and trust me, I can see the analytics. There's people following it that are just like waiting to the last minute to come in, or possibly just following it to see if it gets close enough.
Yep.
If they jump in, I have absolute confidence that this will be funded. So
yeah, we're gonna get there.
On a show note, if you go over to TeePublic, it'll be tpublic.com/fortress-comics. We have shirts up. So currently we have two. One is a Battle Monsters shirt, so you can get the first issue cover on a t-shirt, and the other one is our infamous Batman 66 poster, which is a t-shirt, any other apparel that they have. They have hoodies, crew necks, mugs, stickers, whatever you want. So you can go to our website, fortresscomicnews.com, and there's a store button there. They'll take you straight to it, or just tpublic.com/fortress-comics.
Nice.
And I got more t-shirts coming soon, so keep your eyes on it.
I like that. I guess we got one thing in news, which is interesting. Instead of something like getting canceled or postponed, that CW show, Superman Lois Lane show, has cast Emmanuelle Shrieky. I can never pronounce her name. I actually know this actress, Lana Lang. She was as Lana Lang. So obviously, you have a Superman show, you're gonna have Lana Lang, one of the main characters supporting Clark Kent. But she's actually the actress from Entourage. She plays the fiance of one of the main characters, and I can't remember the character's name.
E's fiance?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why she looked familiar. She's part of Entourage. Yeah, like the crazy one that they like fight all the time and break up, and yeah.
So every night I usually put on a show when I go to bed because I like to have something in the background while I'm trying to fall asleep. And Entourage is one of those shows that recently I pseudo rewatched just because I love that show so much that it was in the background. I could just listen to them talk.
Yeah.
So it's funny. That's been in my world recently.
Oh, okay.
I finished Entourage again. So
yeah, it's good to see she's doing some stuff. I know they brought her back for the movie when they did the movie. I love the show as well. So that's cool to see she'll be part of the Superman universe. And you're still watching Walking Dead now. Was this the last episode before their break?
I believe so. So they still got to finish the season finale proper, which we talked about weeks ago is going to be later on. But this was really introducing the world to Princess. And we got a couple of the characters that went off to find this new place that they think they've discovered and go meet with some of the people, and they run into Princess. And we kind of get an idea of her craziness in this episode. And that's the main crux of it. The kind of B story is Daryl and Rick's daughter walking through the forest and kind of having their moment. And Daryl really showing a side of him that we haven't seen before, which is kind of the fatherly figure to her. It was a really good episode. It left on a huge cliffhanger because it's not supposed to be the last episode.
Right.
But hopefully we'll get that soon, and hopefully all this will get cleared up so that we can get it soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, I've just been, like I said, I've been watching Ozark. Probably going to finish up season 3 before the end of next week. And then I'm going to finish up Castlevania. And then I everybody keeps talking about Letterkenny. I'm going to do it. I'm going to start it. Just going to jump right in.
You're going to be my test boat. You come here next week and you tell me how good or bad that show is, and that'll depend on whether I check it out.
It's funny because all the people I know that are it's trickled into the friend group and stuff, and they start making references and they're like, this is the best show I've ever watched. So naturally I'm like, I'm kind of the same boat as you. Is like I haven't seen it. I've seen the clips of it, and some of the skits are really funny, and I didn't know it was a whole show. So now I'm gonna check it out. We'll see how it goes.
All right.
But now we'll just jump into the movie news. Netflix actually released a new movie today that I saw on there, but it's a Spanish movie, and I think it's called The Platform. It actually looks really interesting. It's like these people live in a jail cell, and they share it with two people, and there's a big square cement hole in the middle of the floor, and you look down and there's other people in other rooms below them, and basically the rich people live way above them, and what happens is that hole in the floor is a platform where that food comes down, and it's all the scraps from the rich people, and they once in a while they get to feed and gorge themselves on the leftovers. It looks super crazy and super trippy. People start falling down the hole and try to come up to other people's prison cells. It's weird, man. It looks really weird, and I might check it out tonight. It looks kind of crazy.
Did you see they got a new docu-series that they're pushing too?
No, what's that?
It's called Beer Kings or something.
Ooh.
Yeah, you might like it. I can't tell if it's a microbrew thing or just guys going to different breweries and tasting, but it's definitely something up your alley.
Yeah, I've heard about beer podcasts, and if I had any regrets, Chris, it's the why the hell didn't we do a podcast that would let us tour other breweries and taste beer for free? I know we know. And the grand scheme of things, I think we missed out. If there was ever a time to rebrand, I mean, man, we had some. We do get to walk around cons, which is cool. If they ever happen again, but the whole brewery thing would be kind of sweet too.
All right, record scratch. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortress of Comic Brews.
Yeah, oh, man. Dude, we're gonna have a mini series, Fortress of Comic Brews. I'm doing it. Oh man, I got some ideas now. There's a lot of drinking going on in quarantine. Not me. I just hear from other people.
Oh yeah. In my industry, where I run into a lot of guys that deliver that stuff, yeah, they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, but what we were talking about? Oh, movies. Yeah, we can't talk about beer the whole time. If we talk about beer any longer, we got to get the Wayward Raven guys on here. Yeah, so Netflix debuts their trailer for the comic book adaptation Extraction, and it's got Chris Hemsworth in it. Pretty big name, huh, for Netflix. They got the money; they don't care. It's produced by the Sacred Russo brothers, and the movie is straight from their 2014 Oni Press graphic novel Ciudad. It's actually written by the Russo brothers and art from Fernando Gonzalez. So that's pretty cool. Be checking that out. Do they have a date for it yet, or
April 24th?
Oh, okay. So like a couple weeks out.
I'll be checking it out. It seems like Chris Hemsworth plays almost like a mercenary who's sent in to save this boy. Mm-hmm. And it definitely has the plot of a very basic action movie. Guy stuck in area, shoots his way out.
Yeah.
But the action sequences look cool. What's his name? David Harbour from Stranger Things is in it.
Oh, that's cool.
And the stuff they show in the trailer looks cool, so I definitely want to watch it.
And I know the Russo brothers are huge fans of the Raid 1 and 2, which is like a break out of a building, shoot 'em up kind of thing, and they actually incorporated, I think, the fight scenes in not Winter Soldier. Yeah, I think it was Winter Soldier. Some of the fight scenes came from the choreography that was happening in the Raid as well, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm definitely checking that out. I mean, come on, Netflix, you got to binge it all right now. Not a whole lot much other stuff to do besides that and read comics.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's very sad news. Actor Jay Benedict passed away due to complications of COVID-19. He had a pretty big rep sheet. Star Wars, Dark Knight, Aliens, a lot of TV and video games. But I mean, man, this guy was in a lot of big franchises, dude. Like, that is awesome. What a rap sheet to have. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, 67, way too young, but seems like he did pretty good for himself throughout his life.
Yeah. Yeah, I was reading that rap sheet and I'm like, man, and I saw people talking about Aliens and I'm like, man, now I want to go back and watch Aliens. I think it's been long enough where I could go back and watch the Alien and Aliens. And
those are some good movies.
Yeah. And maybe, I don't know, maybe Dark Knight trilogy. It's been a while for the Dark Knight trilogy. I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you last time I watched Dark Knight.
I know a lot of people have been doing the Lord of the Rings trilogy, like the extended versions, so you have to like sit down for 2.5 weeks.
Listen, quarantine's too short for that shit.
Yeah, even if quarantine goes to August, I don't know if you'll be able to finish.
That's like 4 weeks worth of movie right there.
Yeah, I know. Like, what was Peter Jackson thinking, dude? What the hell?
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the show. Another very special guest, Mr. Nick O'Gorman. Welcome to the show, Nick.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, the last minute interview we got with you. Thanks for being so accommodating with us. That's awesome. Yeah. So when we bring people on, we usually, especially first timers, like to talk about your origin story of if you've always had a love for comics. I know some writers don't even read current issues today and stuff like that, but have you always been a fan of comic books?
Oh yeah, since I can remember. Like, I don't know, I've gone back and tried to like trace back some of the issues I remember from when I was like really young. Like, I was super into the X-Men when I was like, I don't know, everyone my age was with that cartoon. So as soon as that cartoon came out, I pretty much started reading at the same time. So it kind of started with that, and then I grew up out on the west coast of Canada. There was quite a few shops around, and then spent some time in Calgary. Calgary has got some great comic shops. When I spent time there, I got way more into the indie side of stuff. So like Optic Nerve was becoming pretty popular and like the postmodern stuff. So kind of went into that for a long time, like a lot of Daniel Clowes stuff. Mike Allred too was a huge influence early on.
Yep.
If you see my art, most people can usually spot that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I noticed that. Cool.
But yeah,
so, and eventually you're like, I could make something of my own, or how does that come about?
Yeah, for a long time. Like I've always like submitted stuff. The first success I had was I got published over in the UK in an anthology called Zombre. And that was a story I did there. I wrote and drew it. It was 8 pages, and it was pretty like nicely regarded in all the reviews and stuff. So that was kind of my initial launching pad. It was cool to get published right out of the gate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that was like kind of the first thing. It was a short story. It was like right when zombies started popping off really big, so it was kind of in the zeitgeist.
Yeah, nice.
Perfect timing.
And then after that, I started working on a comic company called Higher Universe. They're based out in Alberta, Canada. So I did everything for them. I colored some books, I drew some books, I lettered a lot of books, jack of all trades kind of stuff. Did that for a number of years. And then I started doing, in the most recent stuff, a lot of like Kickstarters. So this is the third one I've got going right now. The first two were H.P. Lovecraft adaptations. Like my early life was all comics and H.P. Lovecraft and
yeah.
So
nice.
Still surrounds me to this day.
Awesome. Yeah. So I mean, let's talk about the one today. Let's hear about this one.
The Death Row Sorcerer?
Yeah. It looks awesome, and it looks wild.
Yeah, it's going to be a really cool book. I've had the idea for it for about a year and a bit, and it just kept on getting bigger and bigger. Originally, it was just 24 pages, and I plotted it all out, and I was like, it needs to be at least 48, so it kind of doubled in size. So the story is about this like low-level mafia kind of lackey. He's up to his neck in gambling debts. And as a way of paying him off, he kind of decides to break into another mafia's made man's house and steal this like statue. Unfortunately, when he breaks into the guy's place, he ends up startling him and giving him a heart attack. Because of the fact that the guy had a heart attack in the commission of a felony, he kind of gets charged for like manslaughter, like a felony. So he's put to death row. So after that, he kind of spends his like a long time in jail, and after he does his like 3 appeals that everybody gets, that's kind of it. He tried representing himself, couldn't do it. Lawyers couldn't do it. All the judges, their constant refrain is like, no matter how you try to improve yourself, you can never bring back the person that you killed, kind of thing. So then he gets an idea one day, and he goes to the library for an interlibrary loan and requests. Like the Emerald Key, he requests the Necromonicon and gets all these books in prison, and then starts learning sorcery, kind of thing. So that's where the book really starts getting a bit zany.
So he's like, I could just cheat death. That's how I beat death row, pretty much.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. So he's kind of and it crescendos into this crazy ending that's no one will see coming, but it makes like so much sense that it's a really fun end.
Cool. So do you see this as just a one-shot, or is there more to this universe that you want to jump into?
Yeah, so the first book, like it's a self-contained story. You can just pick it up and be done with it, but there'll definitely be more adventures in the future. My wife is a big fan of the story, and she wants him, like, at the end of every story or at the beginning of every story to somehow end up in a prison again. So that's her request. So I've got the next, like, 2 kind of one-shots kind of outlined right now. There's going to be the second one has to do with the Baba Yaga, so it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's funny. That reminds me of Trailer Park Boys. It's like you always try to see at the end of like every season they end up back in jail, but it's like, how do they get there from here? You know what I mean? It's like it seems like everything's going right. He's gonna end up in jail again. Like, how's this gonna happen?
Yeah, just backed up into the corner constantly. Just work your way out. Yeah,
awesome. So you're almost 50% or 50. Yeah, just about 50% pledged.
Yeah, just shy.
There, right? Yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. Like the books, it's completely written. I've thumbnailed the whole thing. Drawing it shouldn't take too long, but I'm the like writer, artist, colorist, letterer. So I'm hoping to get it out by September is the kind of the deadline for me.
All right, cool. Do you want to? I mean, we could talk about some of the goals you got here too, or the pledges if you want to talk.
Yeah, for sure, man. Is there anything that grabs your interest?
Yeah, well, I see like a lot of them. You get like you're getting posters too, I think, with them.
Yeah. So for all my campaigns so far, I offer like at least 1 poster, and then another poster usually is an unlock for a stretch goal. And they're pretty cool. They're gatefold posters, like the kind that you'd get with your Wizard magazine back in the day.
So there you go.
Save on postage. And then I also do silk screens and lino block printing, like some traditional kind of DIY art stuff. So I have a whole bunch of like signed and numbered ones of that. I throw in a lot of freebies with my stuff too. I do pretty much a sketch for everybody that orders.
Okay, that's awesome.
Pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, especially you get more and more orders, you're like, oh wow, that's a lot of sketches.
yeah, especially when it's like a one-man show over here. So
yeah.
So that's really cool to get an original sketch.
Yeah. There's also like the lino block prints are pretty cool. I'm pretty partial to those. It's an old kind of printmaking method that's kind of gone like I don't know, not very popular anymore. So it's fun to bust that out.
But and I also like the exclusive like numbered inside. Always gets me when I see that. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to invest in this.
Yeah, and then the original art's always for sale too. My last one was a project called HBL 1920, and that was like the most success I've ever had as far as people buying original art. People were eating it up. It was great. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun.
Is the original art going to be available through the Kickstarter?
Yeah. For the way it works is like there's no one on this new one yet for the original art. There's not tons of original art up yet. I figure as the campaign goes and people see more, they'll have like a page in their mind that they want. So yeah, I go first come first serve. So the first person who makes that kind of pledge, he'll get first choice of all the pages, and then the second person will get second. So I always count my double page spreads as a single page too. So like the last book, people just wanted 2 pages for the price of one.
Right. Yeah. That's actually that's a pretty good deal. Now I'm hovering over that right now. That's I don't know.
I also put all the poster art, so like some bigger size like original art in there too. Those always get scooped up as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, I mean, how is it for you though? I mean, you're the one man show here. The writing, the lettering, the editing. I mean, is it overwhelming at times, or like do you have to do this in steps, or?
The first book was 28 pages, and that was I kind of put my own challenge in there. I didn't want to use a ruler for that.
Oh, okay.
So the whole inking process, I didn't use a ruler. That was kind of my I don't know, my thing for that. And that was a bit longer. It was an adaptation, so it was pretty different from the original thing, but I had a general idea of what I wanted to do with it. HBL 1920 is 3 different adaptations. They're all 8 pages apiece, so that one wasn't very hard to do. That one was really easy to envision. And then this one I've been working on in my head for a year and a half, so it's pretty fleshed out.
Cool. Awesome. And where can we send everybody if they want to, the listeners want to follow you?
That Nick OG on like most platforms. That Nick OG.
Okay.
So Twitter, everything like that. Yeah.
And this is Row Sorcerer on Kickstarter. Everybody check it out. It's still got over 20 days left, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think 28.
Yeah, and it seems pretty popular right now. So we have a 100% success rate on our show.
Oh, nice.
Kickstarters. We like no pressure. Okay, so
that's awesome.
No pressure, but yeah.
Also, Nick, do you have a website or something where people could buy the older books that you've done, or are they on Comixology? Or
I don't have any on Comixology yet. I probably will. One of the cool tiers in all my Kickstarters is I offer rewards, so you can get the past books. Oh. So like the last one you could get, like for this one you can get Beyond the Wall of Sleep and HBL 1920. I think it's $17 for all 3 books, so it's a pretty good deal. Like since I'm sending them to you anyways, it's a way of saving it. I also would print through the printer that Alterna uses. So it's on newsprint, so it's really cheap to ship. It's a lot lighter. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's always nice, too. The newsprint comes out really nice.
Yeah, especially when you kind of I go into coloring knowing what it's going to look like, right? So, like, it's cool to get those feels and kind of, there's nothing else like it.
Cool. Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks again for being on the show, and good luck with the Kickstarter project. It looks like it's going to be funded though, so awesome.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me, guys.
Yeah.
So everybody go to whatever social media you use and at that Nick OG, check him out and check out the book Row Sorcerer. I can tell you I backed it. It sounds like Mike backed it during the interview. And
it's going to be a blast.
And we're really excited for it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, Nick. It was good talking to you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Anyways, we'll jump into the comic book news. I did see a thing, because Chris and I have been talking about, we've been using Comixology and Limited lately and stuff. I did see, I think it was through Amazon, that it's either this month, I think it's the month of April, is free. You get Comixology for free, unlimited for free for 1 month. So if you want to read comics, you want some access to comics, just, I mean, nothing's better than free. If you already have Amazon Prime, I think you can sign up through there. But I mean, it's really cool. They got Lock and Key on there, which is on Netflix right now. There's a lot of major stuff. I think the Umbrella Academy is on there. I mean, it's got so much iconic stuff on there as well. So it's definitely, I mean, free comics. Come on, check it out.
Yeah, and if you go through to their free section, all the publishers are giving away free stuff. Like not just one issue, but like entire trades of stuff without any sign up or anything, just as a part of their. So I know, and I know I'm fanboy, but Marvel has actually done the best with this. I think they have at least like 12 or 15 different storylines up on there. DC has a few, and then Image has a bunch of number ones that you can grab. And then Valiant has a ton of number ones you can grab as well. But still, I mean, they're free books, so I downloaded a ton of them just to have them, and yeah, they definitely look cool. So
yeah, and I know Marvel does the best with sales too. You get a lot of trades from them for like 99 cents all the time.
Yeah, and then everybody's doing sales right now. Marvel's got like 2 up. I know DC has. I don't know if it's the Darkest Timeline, which is a weird sale to have right now.
Yeah, yeah. It is.
And then, so there's always stuff up there, and you can get it great prices. But I mean, free is the best price. So go over to that free tab and check it out.
Some cool stuff from comic book creators. Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, are a lot of other comic creators as well are currently auctioning off sketches, original sketches by them. The money made from the sketches is going to be donated to the Book Industry Charitable Fund to help comic retailers keep their doors open. So that's pretty cool. Those guys are chipping in to help out.
Yeah, that's the same fund that DC donated to last week. But yeah, Jim Lee's making a shitload of money. I don't know if you've seen some of the sketches, but the low end is like $8,000.
Yeah. There's I do. I mean, I collect comic book art, but I won't even touch Jim Lee's stuff because I think he sometimes he'll do live art on Twitch and he'll like randomly give it away. That's my only chance of ever getting a Jim Lee sketch because, like you said, I've never seen anything under like thousands of dollars.
Yeah, he did a Final Fantasy VII sketch one time on there, and it was so amazing, and I want it. I want it so bad,
dude.
But so these guys are making a ton of money for this charity, and that's great. Keeping guys busy, especially guys that like don't really need to work right now. Just trying to make money for people.
The creative team behind Image Comics' Ice Cream Man are creating an all-new mini comics at quarantinecomics.com, and that's comics with an X at the end. You can purchase each mini comic as a PDF for $1.99, and half of the proceeds are going to go to the Book Industry Charitable Fund to help struggling comic retailers. So that's pretty cool. I'll be checking that out tonight for sure.
Yeah, I never read that book, but apparently people like it. So
yeah.
Well, another cool thing, you get something, it doesn't cost you that much, and it goes to a good cause. So
yeah. Alterna Comics has decided to cancel all solicitations through Diamond Distribution. Instead, all retailers will be able to get their comics directly through Alterna at alternaaccess.com. That is interesting. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the idea.
Well, I think Alterna is interesting because, I mean, they always had the low-end price on their comics, right? Like, they never went over $1.99, and also that meant they never really released their books digitally. So I don't think they're set up to really digitize their whole collection that they're about to release.
Which they're actually, as you say that, they're starting to do that. So,
yeah.
I'm seeing, it's not through Comixology, but I'm seeing digital releases on this Alterna Access.
Yeah.
And I forgot to write on there that customers can go on there too and get books. My thing is they're selling their books for like $1.99, $1, whatever. So there's not a huge profit there, and I don't know if there's. I mean, they gotta be selling enough books to stay alive, but I doubt that if they went away, like all these stores would be dead.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I wonder how many stores are going to go through this extra step to get Alterna books.
Yeah, exactly. And how long is it going to last? Like, are they going to keep it this way moving forward after this is all done?
And like I I haven't bothered him during all this with these kinds of questions because it's not important. But my question is, when Comic Shop gets back up, like there's a new Tinseltown book coming out. That's possibly my favorite alternative book, and I want to get it. Is he going to go through the process of getting it because he only gets like a couple alternative books?
Right. Yeah.
So is it worth his time to go through all this crap to do it? I mean, I don't know. Hopefully this is. I mean, a retailer could tell me otherwise if I'm wrong here, but I feel like this is going to be an issue for retailers to not too much work for too little return. If this was Marvel or DC, though, it would be an industry-wide thing that would blow people away. So,
yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because like it seems like almost Alterna wasn't happy with the way Diamond was going about things, but this is definitely going to hurt the indie industry more than help it, I think.
Yeah, it's just a strange decision. I mean, we're expecting Diamond to be back up and running mid-May. And in the meantime, I get it. Like, everybody's struggling through all this, but I don't think this is the answer for, at least for Alterna. Like I said, if let's just say DC decided to do this tomorrow, it would blow up because most stores couldn't live without DC books or Marvel books.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
We'll see how it turns out, but I'm not a fan of this idea.
Yeah, so let's. What have you been reading? Because I mean, we haven't had weekly books. I know I've been hopping around Comixology looking at indie comics. I found one that you'd actually like. It's called. It's from Action Labs. They're indie publisher. They do that Zombie Tramp book that's pretty hilarious. They do a lot of other cool stuff, but this is called Double Jumpers, and it's I've gotten through I'm on the first trade right now, and it's like a video game industry is releasing this like new VR style game that puts you in like almost like Skyrim, like an RPG setting, or like Dungeons and Dragons. And right now, like the head of the company is like, she's like in the shadow of her father, who's like I think he's an industry tycoon almost, and she wants to get this game off the ground. And there's an accident that happens with a bunch of the play testers, the programmers of the game, where they get shocked while playing the game. And what happens is the characters they've created in game are now their personalities in real life. So they like come out of the game and they're like, in everyday clothing and stuff, but now they have the personalities of like a barbarian. So I think they all like the issue kind of ends with them like running out into public and like leaving because they're like freaking out and don't know where they are. So it's a pretty cool story so far, and it's got some cool like references to like D&D and video game references. So yeah, you probably like it. That's what I'm reading right now, though.
Oh, that was all you had?
Yeah.
So I finished up volume 8 of The Boys. Possibly my least favorite volume because it's just Huey going home and being sad.
Yeah.
Sad boy Huey for so. But I got into 9 a little bit and it picks back up, so I'm enjoying that. I picked up a few indie books. One called Another Dimension. This was like a 99-cent book, so I was like, why not? Let's check it out. And it's a very strange book that I actually kind of want to keep reading. It's all about this. There's another dimension parallel to ours where like all the creatures from our fantasy and lore live. So like Sasquatch and dragons and all these other weird creatures. And they live in their own communities like we do. And the whole crux of the book is that we have a Sasquatch family who the kid, who's like a teenager, is struggling with the religion of the dimension and like questioning everything. Now, there's like a weird sequence where he goes to his science teacher who's a dragon, and like he has a sex fantasy, and I don't know what the fuck that was about, but take that out of it. And the rest of the book is really pretty good. He ends up in his search for answers, goes to this temple where they say they have the they can tell you the answer to all of life's problems. And he goes there and he meets this guy who says he saw the portal that shows them our dimension. And when he goes to this portal, the guy is talking about the band Nirvana. And he says Kurt Cobain's a god. So he creates this whole religion around Nirvana.
Wow.
It's really crazy. I don't know. It was well drawn. And the story was interesting enough. It was a basic story of like a kid trying to find his way in this world. And then it runs into this weird Nirvana thing. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. 99 cents. It's worth checking out. It's just called Another Dimension. Another one I had was Lucifer's Night. Which was a Keen Spot book. Sorry, I'm not used to digital, so everybody bear with me on this. Lucifer's Night. Action Labs. It was an Action Labs book. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And the idea here was you got a kid who's kind of a teenager in high school, and all of his friends are worried about him because he keeps having these nightmares about, the devil coming to him and all this stuff. And he goes through a bunch of high schoolish events, and at the end he finds out that all of his friends are demons. And that was just the first issue. So I don't really have an answer or anything past that, but it was a cool story. He gets attacked by a demon in an alleyway at one point, and the art makes a drastic shift. And I really enjoyed how they did that to kind of show the demon realm from our realm. And the characters were good. I'm just interested to see where the story goes. So I'll probably actually keep reading that one too. Like, I thought it was fun. And then the last book I had was Villian Takes All, which I think you will particularly enjoy, Mike. This was who made this? Loophole Comics, which is probably a super indie thing that somebody did. And the writer is Mike Exner III, and the artist is Kendall Good. First of all, I'll say the art is awesome. It's a really superhero-y style. A lot of detail put into everything, so you can tell that the person who drew it had a very good attention to detail. And it's all about this kid who is trying to join the big time villain group, and he goes and fights one of the superheroes, and through this ends up getting into the group and finds out that what it really is it's almost a Hunger Games-esque tournament where they have to fight each other to the death until one comes out at the end.
That's cool.
And he's still new, so he doesn't have total control of his powers, but he's able to take out like one of the big bad villains in this world. It's well written. The art is awesome. Like, whoever this artist is, I could see them making the move to something bigger. And I really enjoyed it, so I hope we see more of this book. It literally came out last week, and I think good for them, because I would have never checked it out if it wasn't for all this quarantine stuff going on. So yeah, I
What's
really
it
like
called?
that, and I suggest
Villains
that.
What?
Villian Takes All.
Okay, I'm writing that one down.
And that was all I had. So
nice.
Mike, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and or the show, Chris?
Well, they can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter, or they can find me at chrisrunt.com. That's CHRISRUNDT.com. And you can find the show at fortresscomicnews.com, where everything we do is right there on that handy dandy website, including the new TeePublic store, which you should check out. Remember, if you're listening to us, to give us a 5-star review on whatever podcatcher you're using. And if you're watching us on YouTube, to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you all for listening. We appreciate you, and we will see you next week.